Well, General Dempsey, just as I, as a lieutenant in those days, took a solemn oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Who has the authority to authorize war? Well, no one knows better than General Dempsey. That comes in Article 1, Section 8. It's Congress. It's the representatives of the American people. And Dempsey is kind of like, sort of fanatical when it comes to the Constitution. Not only that, up until then, of course, the president and all his minions were saying that the president could do this on his own. He didn't have to go to Congress. Not only that, but with respect to the timing, there was no reason to have to strike out at Syria right away. The only ostensible reason, or the one that I could figure out, was that he wanted to get it done real quickly and get it over with. But I'm not sure. Well, I think that what Dempsey did was get to the president on Friday night or Saturday morning, or both, and say, look, Mr. President, the Joint Chiefs and I, well, let me put it this way, Mr. President. We know that you're real fond of those young people you have around in the White House, those really tough guys and tough gals now who never have seen war, have no idea what it's like. But we have, and we do have that idea. We just want to tell you, Mr. President, that we think this is going to come to a bad end. Look what the Russians are already threatening. Look at the prospect of retaliation, very, very likely retaliation. So we think that it's going to be really tough when the press asks us to justify why we had to do it now. As a matter of fact, I imagine General Dempsey saying, if the press comes to me and says, oh, General Dempsey, why did you have to strike out at Syria before the UN inspectors made their report, before it was really clear who did it? Why did you have to do it now? I'm going to have to say, Mr. President, beats the hell out of me. Go ask the president. Now, that's big. And I think that Obama read the handwriting on the wall and said, among all other things, I'm supposed to be a constitutional law professor. The Constitution does say Congress, and alone Congress, has the power to authorize or declare war. And besides, I probably should get Congress on my side here because nobody else, not even the British, are lining up behind me. And so he blew the whistle, told John Kerry, cool it, man, and he went to Congress. That was the big, big surprise. And, for icing on the cake, I would say that on the following day, we're talking about the 1st of September now, John McCain and Lindsey Graham, the biggest devotees of this kind of war, stormed into the White House. And after a half hour there, they walked out and they were interviewed there in the driveway, before the cameras. And all they could say was, Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman bollocks this whole thing up. I don't know why the president listening to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. So it's clear, it's very clear to me, from Lindsey Graham and John McCain's reaction that they thought, or they believe still, that Martin Dempsey was the fly in the ointment here. And so I'm very grateful to Martin Dempsey, as I am to the president for being flexible enough to refer it to Congress, and then for running the risk of acceding to the Russian proposal, which makes great sense, but for which he's taking lots of flack by people here who don't like Mr. Putin, who don't like Mr. Putin telling us, look, you think you're the exceptional nation in the world, but that's a very dangerous concept. We're all God's creatures, he says, We're all equal. Wow. Well, if we're all equal, why does the president say after each speech or at the end of each speech, remember, we're the sole indispensable nation in the world. Now, indispensable. If your listeners still do antonyms, what's the opposite of indispensable? It happens to be dispensable. And the rest of the world does have the idea that we consider them, the rest of the world, dispensable by definition.
Ray, it's been a fascinating conversation with you here today. If we have a listener out there that would like to take a look at your website and learn more about your work, how can they go about doing that?
Sure. My website is really simple. It's Ray McGovern, so RayMcGovern.com. I also write at consortiumnews.com, and if you tune into consortiumnews.com, you'll be exposed to a much wider array of very cogent thinking. I think it's the best website of its kind.
Very good. I want to take a moment now to thank you for having spent some time with us here this afternoon. We've appreciated hearing from you.
You're most welcome, David. Take care.
Very good. Ray McGovern, veteran CIA analyst, joining us here today, discussing the ongoing situation taking place halfway around the world in the country of Syria. Keep it tuned right here to Yankton's home team, AM 1450 KYNT. Alive at 5 will be right back after this.